Welcome everyone again to a great big adventure, the likes of which you have never seen before on this channel. Join me on a visit to the somewhat popular holiday destination of Bitez near Bodrum in southwestern Turkey, where we will spend several days just doing unplanned stuff, going around, exploring stuff, and getting into all sorts of trouble. In this first day, my mission is to just walk to the sea from the place I've been staying. So I'm walking barefoot through a somewhat old village, picking up trash with my feet. I love going barefoot. These plants, they're full of honey. If you get them out of their things, you can suck on them and you'll be rewarded with sweet, sweet nectar. Paradise Apart, one of the many quaint and nice little hotels you can see in this region. Now let's follow this dry riverbed to the beach. As a rule of thumb, if you follow rivers, they take you to the sea. Oh, it really feels good to go around barefoot. I really can't explain how comfortable it feels. Even on these rocks and rugged terrain, it's the joy of my life. Oops, I scared this lady. A few more steps up these stairs and soon I will reach the seaside. Oh, what's this? Summer garden, scrub, foam massage, oil massage, face mask. You have a massage. Let me show you the summary of vertebrate evolution as I take the first swim of 2023. Here are some views from Bitez Beach, one of the more laid-back and easygoing parts of this entire region. Now let's take a little side quest to explore this hotel, which I've been visiting since childhood, and it's just a wonderful place that has remained untouched since the mid-1990s. It's just a very nostalgic and pleasant and somewhat liminal hotel. Take a look at this amazing artwork in what passes for its lobby. Wonderful. Another really cool thing about this place is the amazing variety of succulent plants they have, just growing wild. And I can attest that some of these plants, like these amazing aeoniums here, have been growing in the same place, untouched, uninterrupted, for over 2 decades. So when I was a child, I would be staying here with my family, and during those days there was no internet, nothing digital, and I would just play in these hallways and get lost among these plants for hours on end. It was just a magical experience, and whenever I come back to this place, I always feel like I am 6 years old or 10 years old again, even though I was almost 40 years old at the time of recording in July 2023. A really pleasant and poignant trip down memory lane. In this case, a literal memory lane, because unlike many other places in this part of the world, this hotel hasn't changed in over 2 or nearly 3 decades, and that's just something rare. Deeper into the beach town, details of uninteresting beach restaurants and cafes. These places serve to a distinctly British clientele, and in the sign even the prices are in quids. This eclectic minaret is over 300 years old. I explore this narrow side alley only to encounter this video game-like obstacle of water running over an open electric box. Fortunately, I survived. After all, what's adventure without a little risk? I then rested at the nearby Fides Cafe, a time-honored establishment. I just sat there and drew alien creatures. If you support me on Patreon, you can see the finished versions of these alien critters, so go over there now. I then explored the beach a bit further. Aferin. Aferin kız. This is one of the automatic water bowls the municipality installs for pets. I then reached the outskirts of the town, but my itch to explore had not been completely scratched. So I decided to take a barefoot mountain trek, and turning this convenient bush into a walking stick, I set on my merry way.
Get out of the way, box! I don't want your shit in here. Get out of the way. Get the fuck out of here.
After the harsh trek on the rocks, walking on asphalt felt comparatively therapeutic.
Allah sıçtık. Gel gel. Aslan sen iyi kalplisin, ben bilirim. Senden kötülük gelmez. Senden kötülük gelemez. Heh.
On the way back home, I saw this empty field full of hemlock plants and eucalyptus trees, and I just had to get in there to investigate. An empty mattress in the middle of a copse of trees. I wonder what it was used for. Well, I just gave it a flip, hoping to find snakes underneath it, but no such luck. It was so hot, there were no reptiles to be found under anything. Passing through the weird and tacky bazaar district again,
Bir ayağıma şey koyuyorum ya. Su
I
koyuyorum.
washed
Ayağıma
my
su
feet
koyuyorum.
and just cooled off.
Kalır kalır. Al,
This
buyur.
old lady also wanted a bit of the foot washing action.
Kolay gelsin. Baktım öyle.
So many tacky souvenirs. You want fish, you want birds, you want turtles, they got them all. I then treated myself to this amazing bag of local cheese and onion chips. After the indigestion wore off, I went out again at night to take macro shots of insects, and the night did not disappoint. All of the creatures that were hidden away during the hot day were now out in full force, and it was just a lovely, lovely spectacle. Tasty. Don't worry, it was just a malted out shell.
Oh my god. It's you. Mr. Frog? Wow.
The next day, after having breakfast with the family's 17-year-old cat, I headed down to Bodrum, which is the big city-like town that's nearby. Let's explore the streets of Bodrum together in this amazing new day. It's easy to overlook, but right here in the middle of the street, dating probably back from the Hellenistic era, is this stone sarcophagus with decorations of garlands and goats' heads. After all, contemporary Bodrum is built on the ruins of historic Halikarnassus. These plants grow little clones of themselves on the edges of their leaves, and locally they are known as mothers of thousands. Here is an antique shop, once again full of things I would never want to buy but are just fun to look at. Here is an abandoned archaeological site in the middle of some buildings. Dig anywhere in this town and you will uncover a historic artifact. In fact, there are many urban legends about people trying to do some yard work or enlarge their houses, and boom, they would uncover some mosaics or an ancient tomb or something. And according to local urban legends, not all of these remains end up in a museum. Once again, I'm just walking randomly without any aim or destination in mind, and I think this is the best way to explore cities in the old world. Katika, gel. Gel. Ha. I wonder what's behind this place. Too bad I'll never find out. These old houses, mostly a century or so old, they have a sort of vernacular sense of humanity that modern buildings just can't hope to match. I just love playing this pollination game with these plants. I then found myself in the modern and glitzy promenade district. It was a very upscale part of town, but I think the animals were the only interesting thing about it. Right after the shopping mall area is the port of Bodrum, which houses many traditional vessels and boats of all types. It's just a nice part of the town to walk through. Abi bir ayağıma tutsana ya, acayip. Oho. Allah razı olsun.
Ya bak kafamıza tutuyor.
Ben de alayım ya.
Ay baba. Nasıl sıcaklar ha?
Çok. Sağ olasın abi. It was one of the most atrociously hot and humid days of the year. Here is a ferry you can take to go to a completely different part of southwestern Turkey, maybe in another adventure. This musician was playing an amazing tune with his arcane, traditional bagpipe-like instrument, and upon hearing it, my head was flooded with visions of alternative realities, alien spirits, not to mention visions of ancient Halikarnassos. After all, this instrument comes from the same part of northern Turkey as the legends of the Amazons, which were once depicted on the spectacular friezes adorning the mausoleum, which was one of the ancient wonders of the world that used to rise in this very town. After this spiritual experience, I dove back into the busy commercial and touristic streets of Bodrum town. $500 liras for this shit? It's a swindle, even in Turkish prices. That big stone structure up there used to be a church. It was demolished. Then a kind of civic center was built on top of it. That was demolished too. And now they say they're gonna turn it into a culture center. But don't hold your hopes on it. This is the best patisserie in the entire region. Just so many delicious cakes, macaroons, and sweet shits. Seashells. Just so many. They are all imported from Indonesia though. So in this cafe, you needed to make an advance booking from some goddamn app in order to sit on the seaside and just have a drink. I did not let this deter me, of course. I just sat on the sand itself and drank some seawater, and then went over to the more reasonable municipality cafe and worked on my sketches. This extremely adorable dog approached me, and I just showered it with pets, and water.
Çok yaşa. Çok yaşa. Çok yaşa. Çok yaşa.
Deeper into the tacky tourist trap streets of Bodrum. What if we kissed in the purple door? Check this out, they spent that much on a bespoke ceramic sign and they couldn't even spell authentic right. This unicorn's guitar was just bizarre. Are you sure that's a kid's toy? In this amazing establishment, you can play the PlayStation 3. I had enough of the tacky bullshit in the main street, so I dove into Bodrum's maze of back alleys to find something truly interesting. It's a little known fact that until recently, Bodrum had a deep-rooted Sephardic community, and here is their age-old cemetery.
This is it. Let's go!
In the present day, nobody even knows that Jewish people lived in Bodrum, let alone they had a cemetery there.
Alright, somebody's close by. We're waiting for them to go away.
This is really one of the most fascinating places in all of Bodrum. One of the many curious motifs unique to this cemetery. The date is 1869 in the Gregorian calendar. Let's leave a stone as a mark of respect. A more recent burial, this gentleman passed away in 1949. Intricate carvings. Notice that this is not one tombstone, but a composite made out of parts left over from many different shattered tombstones. And this grave is from 1885. From 1890. Also, underneath this very tombstone, a colony of ants was raiding another for eggs. What a weird, bizarre night. Also, what a weird and bizarre plant. Just here in the middle of the Bodrum Jewish cemetery. And finally, this tombstone is from 1909. Actually, I am the author, if you can believe it, of two major books in the English language about Bodrum's Jewish community and also about this cemetery.
Mission complete.
After this amazing adventure, what better place to go than the Çarşı Soup Restaurant, where I had a delicious and restorative bowl of lentil soup. Then I went to the minibus station and boarded one of the gaudy green neon lit minibuses that took me from Bodrum town back home. The next day I was a little tired, so after taking care of my laundry, I just walked around the town a little. This dog was fully mature and perfectly formed and tiny. I could just pick it up like an object. some local farm animals, and an ancient looking stone trough for them to drink out of. This poetic graffiti says, "Perhaps all the mistakes are mine." Speaking of mistakes, let's make one and explore this abandoned villa that has been reduced to a ruin.
Wow.
Looks like people have been living here until quite recently. So this area is full of tangerine gardens, and all of these gardens are watered by these gigantic deep stone wells like this one here. Let's throw something in and see how deep it goes. When I was a kid, someone actually fell into one of these abandoned wells and drowned, so these things are a real risk. But forget about that for now, and let's admire the view from the veranda. Oh yes, tangerine gardens as far as the eye can see, all watered by age-old stone wells. It's a real pity how this house has been left to rot, basically. Just look at its bedroom. Even in this small space, there are lots of windows. It's a spacious and airy place to live in. They just don't make houses like this anymore. I walked a bit and then came across this second-hand bookshop in the village. One of the nice things about these parts of Turkey is that lots of English-speaking people come, live here for a while, and then dump their books and leave. So there's always a very eclectic selection of English language books to choose from, including this classic, The Dungeons of Skull Island. Anyways, I got some books, not the dungeon book, and then for a discount made this drawing for the proprietor of the store. I then sat down at this nearby tea house to examine the books I picked up that day. This nice book of memoirs, this weird novel called The Seal Woman, looks really good. Plus, I don't know how this book ended up here, an illustrated catalog of Greek landscape watercolors, really high quality stuff. On the way back, I passed through this semi-abandoned shopping arcade. Only a few stores were occupied, and there were colonies of swallowbirds circling about in the ceiling. So beautiful. One day, every artifact of humanity is gonna look this way. I then hitched a ride to the seashore with this old gentleman
Sağ ol abi. Haydi. iyi yolculuklar. Yolun açık olsun.
who was a veteran of Turkey's liberation campaign in North Cyprus. He was a really based guy. And then walked to Fides Cafe, where until the sunset I just drank overpriced coffee, painted, drew, and read up on my books. If you want to see more of these drawings and these paintings, please remember to support me on patreon.com. The link is in the video description. I then took an evening stroll along the Bitez seashore. I had sandals on this time, not barefoot. Oh yeah, it's snack time. Well, that was a lazy evening. In my fourth and final day, I went down to Bodrum town again. This time to explore the Karaburgaz Turkish cemetery there. If you haven't been to Turkish cemeteries, especially in this part of the world, they are really beautiful, poetic, and kind of melancholic places. Some of the older tombstones have this amazing folk art of flowers and plants, and for years I have been collecting photographs of these artifacts, so it was a nice trip in that respect. Nearby the cemetery is this huge tree with a commemorative plaque dedicated by a certain Gönül Ana to thank everyone who rescued her tree from being cut down. This is what those fuzzy Angora cats look like when they're shaved. This UFO-like building is actually an ancient water cistern, and behind it there's this abandoned modernist hotel dating from the 1980s. Let's go and explore. It looks like this place was abandoned due to faulty construction. It was literally falling apart, and I think it would come crashing down in the next big earthquake. This door is locked. Let's try the next one. Also really liking these hexagonal planters. Oh, someone's still watching me. Well, I don't care. Let's look over this wall. These walls belong to the ancient gate of Mindos. Let's go the other way and get the hell out of here. It's a pity this hotel was really nicely made. It was clearly the work of a competent architect. Nothing. Alright, let's clamber down the UFO and get the hell out of here, cause I don't want the CCTV people to come catch me. Back at Bodrum's promenade, the ferry is disgorging its passengers again. Sponges were once one of Bodrum's top exports, but now they're just soft curiosities. I'm just gonna take a shortcut through these tangled bazaar-like alleys and just go explore some of Bodrum's more narrow, seedier quarters. Man, this place has just the right vibes. Let's go in deeper and see what we will find. All the buildings here look torn open and abandoned, and there's some weird fabrics and stuff everywhere. I wonder what happened here. Oh boy! Looks like somebody really had a wild party on this rooftop. At least they got a good view. I mean, I would finish a bottle of whiskey too if I had to sleep down on these mattresses. Anyways, let's take a retreat in case some of the party goers want to come back for the night. I just love exploring dark corners like this. Truth be told, there's few if any risk, and everything you find just happens to be wonderful. Like this wall of fairies! Oh my god! They got blue fairies, they got purple fairies, they got all sorts of shit in these dark side alleys, and I just can't have enough. By the way, these places also have great lessons for urban planning. If you make everything efficient and locked in a grid shape, you really lose a lot of humanity that makes the Mediterranean and other parts of the old world so attractive for tourists. This street was full of cozy little hotels. Just makes you want to check in. Pets, cats, plants, it's also full of joy. I mean, you really cannot plan something like this, and at the cost of a little mess, these places really look magical, humane, beautiful, and livable.
I love you.
Oy, memmi girl. Ew, free mayonnaise. Oh, it's just garbage. So disappointing. At the end of this journey, I faced this amazing piece of urban archaeology, full of these old programs like ICQ, Google, Yahoo, Messenger, I guess, Internet Explorer, MSN Messenger, MIRC. Wow, all these programs you can use to chat and maybe meet women like her. They also have CD writers, webcam, printers, and scanners. Amazing. And as the moon rises from behind owl-haunted palm trees in the yard of a centuries-old stone building hidden behind a parking lot, the fairy tale that was Bodrum comes to an end, at least for me. I had one final bowl of tripe soup and went back to where I came. But I could never have done this without you, my dear friends and supporters on patreon.com and beyond. Yes, I am really trying to make longer, more rich travel videos like this one these days, and every penny you donate really makes a difference for me. If you like this video, maybe try sharing it with your friends and loved ones, and maybe try to get them to support me too. It's all thanks to you, everybody. Without your support, none of these travels would have happened. By the way, in this video, I hope I could show you that when exploring a new place, you could really do well to do without itineraries or a sense of risk. Just go where your sense of curiosity takes you, and you will be guaranteed to have an interesting and memorable time. That's all for tonight. Have a nice day wherever you are, and I love you all. Goodbye.